Hello race fans and welcome to the Belgium Grand Prix here in One Hub Racing Season 19 for round number 6. I'm your commentator Peter Knighton. I'm going to be flying solo tonight for this point tier Grand Prix. Sorry if I didn't have anything on screen, I had a menu up. But we are about to get underway for points tiers Belgium Grand Prix this Friday evening. Brought to you by Next Level Racing, 3M Sim Racing, ERT and Vespertine. I'm looking forward to this Grand Prix and I hope everyone that joins in and tunes in enjoys it too. So last week was Singapore. Quite a long race, but it was entertaining nonetheless, and we saw a very dramatic final few laps, as we always do here in One Hub, or we tend to do anyway. I'm not too sure whether we'll have a full grid, but I'm sure even 17 drivers as we've got so far will give us an entertaining Grand Prix. 22 laps of Spa-Francorchamps, the longest circuit on the calendar so far. Looks to be beaten by the Jeddah Grand Prix coming to Formula 1 in Saudi Arabia, but this is a combined long lap time as well as a long track, whereas Singapore last week was a long lap time on a short circuit in terms of distance, which is why we got so many laps. Here we only have 22 laps. 2-stop as always, so we'll be looking for a soft, medium, soft kind of strategy, unless it rains, of course. It can be known to rain, as seen in 2021 at this Belgian Grand Prix. It chucked it down and there were no race. There was 2 laps and that was it. And fortunately for us, there are no red flags, and no matter the weather, we'll get racing even in the conditions the game is in. Hopefully no incidents, no lag, no throw this game at Cody's and say what have you done kind of vibes tonight. We've got Dexter in the chat cheering on Jacko. He misses you, I believe, in that Aston Martin. So yeah, I'll run through the championship order and last week's results in Singapore. Hope everyone can hear me. If not, I've been babbling on for no reason. So last week in Singapore it was a Mercedes 1-2 for Aaron and Colin, with Rageman getting his 4th, I believe, consecutive podium in a row, really putting a stand on the championship. Thank you Kokoboa Asylum for confirming that you can hear me. I've had that issue before, but yeah, top 3 were Aaron, Colin and Rageman. Next we have One Hub Racing Premium driver Gazzaman, who finished 4th, with Ilon Neon getting his best position, point scoring position of the season, 5th, with an interesting strategy, not realising that it had to go on the 2-stop, and managed to pit on the softs at the end and completed the race in 5th. Lawrence's teammate, so it was an Alpha 5-6 in Singapore, with new driver Speed Y Racer finishing in the points in his first One Hub race in 7th. Hookie, the McLaren, the leader McLaren, in the results in 8th. Kingdon was 9th in the Williams, and Jacko finished 10th. So only 10 runners actually managed to finish the race. Everyone down from 11th did not finish. Aaron got fastest lap, was pole position and did everything right in the race, although safety cars nearly threw him off trying to win the Grand Prix, with the threat of Colin behind him battling for that race win. So it looks like we're getting ready to get underway here, and we'll go through the drivers' standings at the midway point. This is round 6, 5 rounds already been completed, and we get to see what the first half of the season has brought to us in terms of drivers fighting for the title. Constructors would be interesting to see as well. At the halfway stage, I know Mercedes are chilling at the top, clear I believe. We'll run through it anyway. So yeah, Aaron leads after getting his third win, fourth podium of the season. Leads the drivers' standings by 20 points to his teammate. So it is a Mercedes 1-2. Gazzaman has lost a position to Colin after Colin's second place last week. That's Colin's second podium of the season. He's on 64, 20 points of drift from Aaron, but only 1 point clear of Gazzaman in third in that Red Bull. Rageman sneaks his way closer to the top three in fourth on 56 points. So it's pretty much a 4-horse race at the moment. In this halfway stage, I say it's a 4-horse race for the title, but Aaron is that what's the horse's name? I can't remember. It will come to me at some point. But yeah, Aaron's that horse who's so far ahead that it's getting closer and closer to him putting his hands on the title. Pretty much guaranteed top 4 with his lead to Speed Quinn in 5th of 55 points. So that's a big haul of points that Quinn needs to overhaul to get back in the running for the championship. Next is Giggle in the second Haas. So that's 4-5 in the drivers at the moment. He's on 26, 3 points away from Quinn. So the gap from Quinn to Rageman is 27, and the gap from Quinn to Giggle. So he's in a little bit of a Haas sandwich. 3 points ahead of Giggle. Next is Lawrence after getting a good result last week. He's on 24 in the leading Scuderia Alpha Tauri. Next is Liam in the Alpine. Didn't have a strong result last week. I believe that was a DNF. And is down in 8th on 20 points. Joint with Jake in the other Alpine on 20. So both of those did not manage to finish, as it looks like it's raining here in Spa. A little bit of drizzle on the track, and intermediate tyres have been selected for Liam. Enters for everyone as it seems. So a full wet quali looks to be in order. Is it going to be wet in the race? Can someone confirm? Gazzaman, I saw you just now in the chat. Wet quali, dry to wet race. Oh, that's going to be interesting for strategy, because everyone's going to have fresh, brand new tyres at the beginning of the Grand Prix if they all qualify on inters and it does not dry out. That's what these 17 drivers are going to have to tackle on their outlaps. There is a Haas who is the leading driver, which is Giggle. We'll stay on board with him as he will be first to start a flyer. He's got the Alpine of Liam behind him, but unless Liam overtakes, Giggle will be first to start. Yeah, 82% rain at 45 minutes. So it could be dry for a while and then switch to inters at the very end. That's in the race. Finishing off the top 10 of the driver standings, Hooky is the lead McLaren on 18. There's your top 10. So then it's ERT Jacko, the ERT driver Jacko in there. Aston Martin is 11th on 15, 1 point ahead of O'Sully of the Ferrari, 100 racing premium driver on 14 points. Joint, he is with in 13th of the other McLaren of Mason Jr. He's on 14, as well as Trunders, who I believe is here this week and will be looking to score more points for Red Bull. Anozia MCFC is in 15th on 10 points. IRL Neon with his first point scoring position finish last week gets it, he sees him on 10. Speedway in the other Ferrari is on 6. Speedway Racer gets his first points on the board for Alfa Romeo on 6. Hingjun, Prospector season 18 champion, on 4 points. Really not got himself into gear this season. And then Goodlip at the back on 0 points in the other Aston Martin that replaced Dexter mid-season. Liam has already retired. Whether he had a calorie ban or not, I'm not too sure. But Giggles managed to survive his run-up Eau Rouge and Rallion, which can be tricky in these wet conditions. He's got the Red Bull of, I believe, either Trunders or Gazzaman. Let's see if it's Gazzaman. It's not Gazzaman. It is Gazzaman, but he's on that lap, so it shouldn't be a threat to Giggle on this fast-flying lap. In terms of constructors, Mercedes obviously leading the way after a strong 1-2 finish last week in Singapore. 148 points with 3 wins and 6 podiums on the board. Look set to charge their way to the Constructors' title, with Haas now overtaking Red Bull and now in second place, 66 points adrift of Mercedes, but crucially 5 points clear of Red Bull in third. Alpine are in fourth, 37 points clear of the top three on 40 points, with AlphaTauri 6 points back on 34. Next you have the Williams drivers of Kingdon and Quinn. They're on 33 points, 115 points off the lead, but 1 point clear of McLaren in 7th. Next is Ferrari on 20. They're a further 12 points adrift of the top 7, with Aston Martin 1 point below them. Then it's Alfa Romeo leading up the rear, but have scored points, 16 points for them on the board, but 10th place in the Constructors' standings. So has Giggle managed to survive this lap so far? He has. Into the bus stop. Chicane. Nice and tentatively on the brakes. Doesn't want to be too eager on the power. And across the line. Sets our first time of the day. Of a 156.1. It should be fueled up to do a couple of runs if it's going to stay inters. You might as well use at least 1 or 2 sets on some runs. Trunders has invalidated on his lap, as O'Sully goes even quicker than Giggle by 26 thousandths of a second in the Ferrari. A couple of drivers starting to finish and start laps. We've got Kingdon finishing just a 10th off Sully. And we have an Aston Martin of Jacko finishing across the line, 1.8 seconds off the pace, but valid so far. The other Haas of Rageman crosses to start a lap, and that will lead on to, I believe, Neon finishing the time and going 4th with a 156.7. Next we have the McLaren of Mason. He comes 6th, and then behind him was Lawrence starting a lap. Finally we have Trunders coming around the final corner, probably going to go for another run, seeing as that lap was invalidated. Wasn't the slowest lap, it would have gone 6th with it, but we'll probably go again for another run. Mercedes across the line. It's not Aaron, it's Colin, and he goes quickest with a 55.2. What can his teammate do? Yuri crosses the line and goes fastest. That is essentially second home Grand Prix here in Belgium. 55.1 from the Dutchman. What can the others do to try and knock that time off? Oh, I'm not going to lie to you people, I've got pizza right next to me. I really want to eat it, but I can't because I'm commentating. Purple first sector and second sector for Aaron, and looking that he can knock off Yuri and make it a 1-3 for Mercedes. Let's see if we can catch. Yeah, Aaron's going to be next across the line to set a lap. What's it going to be? 155, 1 to beat. The track could be getting grippier and grippier and faster, and Aaron's gone faster than Yuri by 3 tenths. That's a 54.8 from the McLaren, as Gazaman slots himself 4th, but crucially so far ahead of one of his championship rivals of Rageman. Time's starting to come in thick and fast. I think this will be the final order come the end of the session. Let's have a look at our media for this week. We've got pre-race interviews ahead of us, and see if we can find a driver who has answered them. Hopefully everyone does. We've got Big John, who I'm on board with now. He has answered our pre-race interview questions. Are you looking forward to the challenge of Eau Rouge and Radion? He says yes, but have to be wary, especially in the wet. As proven so far, these conditions can be tricky, but no one's slipping up yet. Everyone's taking it nice and cautious, and that's beautiful through Eau Rouge and Radion from John there. And could be on for a good lap. Currently the slowest time of everyone, but could probably find more time as the conditions change towards the end. Would wet weather play a part in how well you do this week? I'm not too confident in the wet round here. Proven so far on pace is 9 tenths off the next car in qualifying, but his dry pace could be extremely good. Do you feel more at home in Europe? Will you miss Asia? Most definitely. How have things gone in preparation for this week? Pretty good so far, so he's confident going into this Grand Prix. And it's highly likely safety car will occur. Have you had enough pace at previous rounds this season to take advantage? I've been too cautious, but at least no silly mistakes. Yep. Finish first. First you have to finish. To score points, you've got to cross that line, and 2 people could have scored points if they'd crossed the line last week. Only 10 finishes, 12 score points, and times start to come a little bit quicker as more people set lap times. MCFC is one of the drivers yet to set one, and he's on a flyer at the moment. We'll stay on board with him. In the other Alfa Romeo, one's sitting on the front row, one's at the back. But what can be done from this Alfa Romeo driver? He has invalidated through Puon, and that is the end of his lap. Mason crossed the line 57.0, did improve, but not enough to gain any positions. Red Bull does improve, who was just ahead of Mason and now into 8th. There's some Red Bull 6-8 in these treacherous conditions. They're not all that treacherous, but even the smallest amount of rain can be difficult for drivers, as proven through Blanchimont. I believe that was an Alpine. No, it was the Williams of Quinn. These colours are really close, the Alpine, the Williams and the Red Bull, and too many colours very similar, you get mixed up. But rivalries for this week here in points tier are between Colin and Rageman. Spoke about him before. Colin just ahead of Rageman there, P4, P5 on the grid at the moment. No naughty engines in terms of incidents last week, but these two had a good fight in the race last week. Rageman seems like he's 3rd places, doesn't he? Is he scared to get anything higher than that? And why do you have an edge on him in the championship? Was question to Colin. The question to Rageman was, you've been more consistent than Colin this season, with podiums in almost every single race. Does this give you an advantage over Colin with a track that rewards consistency? Will you aim for higher than P3 this week? Let's see if Colin and Rageman answered. Rageman did. He says, I like P3. It is on the podium, but it's not quite P2 or P1. But I hope I finish higher than P3 this week. At the moment, Rageman's 5th, with is very close to Colin actually. They're separated by 47 thousandths of a second. It's quite close for rivals this week. That's where rivals want to be, right next to each other. Who's our hot and cold then? Who are our drivers? One's on fire, one's stuck in the freezer. So Colin is our driver on fire. This championship fight is one to behold. The colony finished second last week and has definitely made this a very tense competitive championship battle. Looking forward to seeing who wins out in a few short weeks. And the cold driver was last week's new Aston Martin driver of Goodlip. Unfortunately, at the other end, Goodlip is struggling for form points and finishes. So unfortunately for him, he's in the cold zone. Yeah, and unfortunately he is not here today either, as Kington is on the front row and got inside those 54s to try and match Aaron in front row. It's going to be difficult to see where drivers are starting and finishing laps. Jacko, interestingly, is on soft tyres. Is this a visual glitch where sometimes it can be raining on screen, but it is dry? Is this the perfect opportunity for Jacko to try and steal pole position? Is a little bit loose out of the final corner, but we're going to stay on board with him to see if these conditions are improving enough for the dry compounded tyre. It's a long lap, so it's going to take a while for all of it to dry up with cars going on track. But he who's last out and on the correct tyre could snatch pole position, and hopefully we'll see that from Jacko, going very bold on the strategy. Where is he in the first sector? He's down on his time by 7/10, so at the moment softs don't seem to be the correct tyre. However, as we saw in Russia, it could be the very end of the session where the softs could be useful. A lot of drivers come out for fresh inters, one of them being Quinn. He's about to start his lap. O'Sully has done a lap, but is currently still 12th. Mason's invalidated, so we'll go on board with Quinn as he runs into La Source. Now round towards one of the most tricky corners on the track, especially in the wet. Eau Rouge and Radion up the hill. Doesn't want to keep it flat. Probably doesn't keep it flat in the wet. Will be flat in the dry, but in the wet it's risky to take it flat. He's got some time to find on his teammate and pole position if he wants to try and take another pole position here in one hub. Purple first sector. He's only marginally up in the first. However, that doesn't signify how well the rest of the lap can go. If he's only up by 37 thousandths in the first sector, doesn't mean he's going to be 37 thousandths up in the second sector. It could be even more. So that lap time is so far good enough to pressure the top 5, I think, with that purple first sector. But has it stopped raining? We'll go on board to see what the spray is like, see what the rain on the driver's visor is going to be like. And the camera, that our racers sometimes use, if you use TV pod or if you use cockpit cam, tend to be the two favourable camera angles, but can be adjusted to suit you. Let's see what Speed Quinn can do. As he ends the second sector, he's half a second up, and that could slap him into the 54s. Excuse me. Looking good. But only I would try and go flat here if you want to gain as much time. Could be a risk. It doesn't go flat. Lifts a little. But could be worth a risk if he goes for another lap. Up to the bus stop. The slowest corner on circuit, I believe. And round the final corner. Will this be provisional pole position for the Williams driver of Speed Quinn? Up to the line. It's not enough even for the front row. He's dropped out of that 154 window and lost time, but has enough time to rebuild the battery and go again, or go again completely right now. What's Rageman doing? He's invalidated. What's Gazzaman doing? He's coming towards the final couple of corners through Blanchimont. Will he take it flat? Will he risk it? He will have one more lap if he's got the fuel. He did take it flat, and it is flat. And this is where he's going to gain time on Quinn, as he was 2/10 up in the middle sector. So this could beat Quinn as he comes to the line. What is this time from Gazzaman? He's on the front row with a 54.653 compared to Kingdon's 54.692. Good lap from Gazzaman with time still to find. Ooh, that's Kingdon round on his outlap at the exit of the final corner. Doesn't want to lose too much time. How long's left of the session? Please yellow flag disappear so we can see how much time of the session is left. 151. Oh, I don't think he's going to have enough time to go again. Is Kingdon, so that could be his qualifying session over, and we'll start no higher than the second grid. Where is everyone else? Everyone's starting. Rageman is starting as well. Chunders is coming towards Pouan. Giggles through Les Combes. Jacko's are still on those soft tyres and bailing out on them. Then it's not dry enough for softs. It was worth the risk from Jacko, and that's his qualifying session over. Ooh, Mason's in the gravel. He's done 6 laps on those inters, so the only tyre he's probably done any laps on. Lawrence, one driver yet to set time. Cautiously up Eau Rouge and Radion. See if we can get this Alpine or Williams. Is that Kingdon? That's Quinn. Quinn goes fastest. He went for another lap and found the time in that final sector, and it's a 54.4. Beats a 54.5 from Aaron, but Aaron is coming through Blanchimont right now. There is a Red Bull coming through that section of Trunders. He's down on his time. Is the checkered flag out? We won't know. But Aaron round the bus stop chicane to finish his qualifying session. These yellow flags are really annoying me because I have no idea how long's left in the session. Up to the line. Is this pole position from Aaron? And it is with a 54.1. Beats Quinn by 3/10. However, Quinn could go again if he has the fuel. Is he going for another flyer? He looks slow in the first sector. Yeah, he's 8 seconds down, so Quinn was disappointed it's not pole position, but it's on the front row yet for now. Gazzaman could go again. Oh, but he's lost the back end coming round turn 1. And that's his qualifying session over. Kingdon was invalid, won't improve, and does not have enough time to go again. Colin improves up to 5th, and crucially is ahead of his rival Rageman, who's retired from the session. Who else we got coming towards the end of their laps? I see a Ferrari of O'Sully down Kemmel Straight. Lawrence is coming into the bus stop. He is yet to set a time, and there's quite a big window for him to slot himself into if he can set a valid time. Will it be a 57.0? to stop him being the slowest time of the session, but he's still slowest, but he starts ahead of Liam and Nosea. What's his teammate Neon doing on fresh inters? He's slightly down in the middle sector as he comes towards this fast section, trying to keep the pedal to the metal as he runs towards Blanchimont. Will he keep it flat? We saw Gazzaman keep it flat. Will Neon keep it flat? He's currently inside the top 10. Can he lock up? He does lock up into the bus stop, but makes both apexes. And on exit, what's his traction like? Quite cautious, but up to the line, it's an improvement. Up to 8th place, and Rageman drops down another position. Who else is to finish the lap time? Trunders is 3/10 up and could knock Rageman down even more positions. How's the exit from Trunders as he heads to the line? What can this Red Bull do? It is an improvement, or not. It is an improvement, but not enough to get ahead of Rageman, I believe. And Jacko is still outside the top 10. And Sully's doing some lawn mowing. So there's qualifying, I believe. Yuri's up on his time. Giggle's right in front of him. Giggle to the line. Will this be an improvement? Will it be pole position? It's inside the top 4. What about Yuri? To the line. He almost snatches pole position, but knocks his team speed teammate off the front row. And that's Yuri proving again that any newcomer can challenge for any position here in One Hub. But Aaron once again takes pole position ahead of Speed Y Racer. So there's your grid, all on inters, all time set on inters. So it's Aaron from Speed Y Racer. Speed Quinn starts the second row ahead of Gazzaman. Giggle is ahead of his teammate, but ahead of Quinn's as well. Kingdon's in 6th. That's your third row. Fourth row's Colin and IRL Neon with Rageman and Trunders rounding out your top 10. Outside your top 10, but it's going to be a dry start, so everyone will be on fresh tyres. It's Jacko, Sully, Hooky, Mason, so a poor qualifying for both McLarens. Lawrence is 15th, and 2 drivers yet set time, or didn't set a time, is Liam and Nosey MCFC. Whether there was any qualifying rounds or anything, I may have missed them in the steward's report. So we're looking at a dry race with threat of rain at the end. Could get really spicy, and I do love a spicy ending. I love a spicy pizza as well, which is sat right in front. Oh, I don't want to open that box. We won't open that box. Yuri now starting his stream, seeing as he's put himself on the front row and didn't crash out in qualifying. But it's very cloudy, as we will have, I believe it's a 2-minute wait on the grid as usual. If you ready up, you will be penalised by the stewards. Only the host can ready up when it is time to do so. I assume we've still got formation laps. I know a lot of leagues have scrapped it due to it causing issues, but hopefully we get formation laps so we can run through the grid, run through tyres, crucially, because that's going to be interesting to see what everyone decides to put on. Mandatory 2-stop, so you could do 2 stops to the rain if needed, and if it rains you don't need to run 2 different mandatory tyres. You don't need to run the mandatory tyre of the mediums. Bouncy car, yeah. Look at that ass of the car. Look at it bounce. So yeah, formation lap. Right, let's have a look to see what tyres everyone is planning on starting on, and it's going to be interesting to see when the rain does eventually come who will have already made a stop and who won't have. So the top 4 all going aggressive and starting on the soft tyres, with Giggle being the lead medium runner in 5th. Kingdon's on softs with Colin on mediums as well. Then you've got Neon, Rageman on softs, and Trunders on mediums. Only 2 drivers starting towards the back on mediums. They are the 2 at the back, that's Liam and MCFC. Jacko, Sully, Hooky, Mason and Lawrence, all ahead of Liam and MCFC, are starting on the softs and going aggressive. So a lot of the drivers on the C4 compound, this can be estimated to go 9 laps. So if it does plan to rain at the end, you could do 2 sets of softs and risk it to rain and put a slap on a set of inters. That means you won't have to have done 2 different tyre compounds. So the C3 are what Giggle, Colin, Trunders, Liam and Anosio MCFC are starting on, can do 14 laps. So pretty much half the race. And then you've got the C2 tyre that I don't think anyone will look at using are the hard compound tyres. 19 laps expected tyre life with a 22-second pit stop around here estimated. I thought it was a little bit less, but it might be 22 because turn 1's really slow. Like the exit of the pit lane is really slow. 19 corners around here, a lot of names that everyone tends to know. 10 to the left, 9 to the right, 22 laps as I mentioned at the start with 2 DRS stones, 1 on the run down towards Lake Com, and the first one is going to start finish straight on the exit of the bus stop. So even if you don't get the overtake done down towards turn 1, save yourself for the extremely long run down the camera straight towards Lake Com. That's where we'll be looking to see most overtakes here at Belgium. Strict corner cutting, so drivers are going to be careful with track limits, especially through a lot of these corners. It's mainly exits that catch people out, that give people track limit warnings, and that's what drivers are going to have to keep an eye on. So Aaron will be starting on the inside, which will be crucial for him. So you'll be on the right on our screens as we wait for the 5 red lights and all the drivers to line up on the grid. Oh, yeah, Lawrence is now lined up. Here we go then. Oh, I want Aaron. I want Aaron. Waiting for the 5 red lights. 4 and 5. Aaron's on your left. You're on the right. And it's a lights out and away we go. Is it a good start from the leaders? They hold position into turn 1. It looks like it might be 3 wide between Yuri, Gazaman and Quinn, as Quinn tries to look up the inside of Gazaman and stays ahead of Gazaman as they run side by side towards Oruj and Radiram. Do they have the balls to go side by side? Gazaman backs out sensibly and it's Quinn that leads, but Yuri's got an amazing run up the top of the hill and down the camel straight. This is the straight where a lot of overtakes are going to be made. What will Aaron do into Lake Com? He goes defensive. Yuri's going to have the inside, but will he be able to take the lead? Doesn't want to touch that inside curb because can lose the rear as it loses front downforce when you touch it. That curb is fine, but Aaron holds on to the lead with Yuri ahead of Quinn, with Gazaman under threat from Kingdon behind. Next we've got Giggle going side by side with Neon as he's gaining positions. A little bit of a loose rear end from Neon and will lose the position not only to Giggle but O'Sully, who's had a great start on those soft tyres, up to 7th. Neon back down to 8th. Trunders has made it 1 position, but it's been a very poor start from Colin. He is down in 10th, but crucially on the medium tyres will want to go long compared to these soft runners. Jacko's still in 11th, but I think Colin started 10th anyway, so no gains or losses, but he's on the medium tyres. As Kingdon, what's happened? Oh, Yuri spun. Oh no. Yuri spun through Puron, I believe that is. Has he got damage? No safety car deployed for that. I don't think he's got any damage. However, we have had another spinner. Rageman has spun. This time coming into, I believe that's Stavelo, is it? I believe it's Stavelo. I will get these corners right. But yeah, Rageman and Yuri not off to the best of starts. Yuri now on the back of Mason towards the bus stop chicane. Mason defends. Yuri's going to have to go a long way around the outside, but will effectively turn to the inside for the final corner, and that's an easy position for Yuri. Not what he would have wanted at the start of this Grand Prix. Quinn takes that position, and now into 2nd for Quinn. Gazaban onto the podium positions, but Kingdon, a Williams 2-3 looking to pounce on the poor form so far this season. Colin down to 11th, Jacko's up to 9th, so it looks like it's going side by side. Further behind between Colin and Lawrence, really close battling. I've got to try and keep an eye on everything. Side by side between Neon and Sully into Lake Com. Neon's on the inside, nice and clean racing between these two. They're still side by side. Will Neon get a position? He does. Gazaman gets through on Quinn, but Quinn's going to keep the nose up the inside into Brussels, and effectively will they still be side by side? Quinn gets a position before No Name, and that invites Kingdom back into this fight, but opens the window between Quinn and Aaron will sail away. And Neon's ahead of Sully And Trunders is under threat from Jacko on those soft tyres. Oh, Jacko gets the move up the inside as Trunders runs wide. They're still side by side as they go through Puron. Now towards the end of this second sector, will Jacko have the move around the outside? He does. What a move from Jacko. Already up to 8th. Taking the soft tyres and moving them up positions as we wait for the Delta to fix itself. What can Yuri do? What can Yuri do at the back now? How many overtakes can he make to get himself back inside the points? How far will drivers decide to stretch? You can pit on the safety car. Oh, as Kingdon loses the back end on the exit of the bus stop. Doesn't want to come back onto the racing line. Luckily for Ghosting, he won't affect anyone's racecraft, but it can be classed as a dangerous re-entry. But he's now down in 9th, so anyone near the front trying to gain positions are losing them thick and fast. It's 3 wide into turn 1. We had who was that? Lawrence on the outside. Oh, and there's a McLaren round that's hooking the wall, and he is out. Will this bring a safety car out and bring Rageman's race back into full form? Virtual safety car for these drivers, but everyone's running down the Kemmel Straight, and will anyone have a chance to pit? I think everyone's so close. There's no opportunity for anyone to dive into the pits and take advantage of this VSC. Someone that would have hoped of a full caution would have been Quinn. Could have closed the gap back up to Aaron, but I'm sure a lot of drivers probably would have picked for the mediums to go all the way to the rain. When will the virtual safety car end? It's a little bit difficult to try and time it here. It could be instant, but we will get a virtual safety car ending, hopefully. Sign. We'll keep an eye on these gaps, especially between Gazzaman and Quinn, as he is after session. As DRS gets re-enabled, and we're back green flag running once again. And that gap between Aaron and Quinn has dropped drastically. I think Aaron might have had a bit of an issue with his Delta and has lost around a second of time to these two chasing him down. And that's going to help. That's going to really benefit Quinn to try and push to get in that DRS, because DRS is really key. If you can get it at the end of this essential straight corner, it's all flat, and there can be opportunities for overtaking into the bus stop. With DRS now enabled, it's going to be crucial for Quinn to try and hold off Gazzaman. Or if you think Gazzaman's got the pace, let him go. Let him drag you along with the DRS, as Lawrence is our first pitter. Is this for damage, or is this purely strategy? Not going to help if there's a safety car, but it is strategy, and it's going on to another set of softs. Is there a wing change? It looks quite slow. Maybe there was a wing change. Yeah, that's a slow pit stop, so there was a wing change. Maybe minor damage that he's fixed. Soft tyres for him. That's one stop out the window and used up for Lawrence. Quinn has managed to hold off Gazzaman on their second run down towards Lacom with the benefit of DRS. The first one was a little bit hindered with the VSC. Kingdon's lost it again through Lacom. I think Kingdon needs to keep it off the curves, but he's not going to keep it out of the wall this time. And is that his Grand Prix over? It is. The yellow flag are out, and there is a safety car. This is not going to help Lawrence, who's already made a stop, but it is going to help everyone who is on those soft tyres that may want to pit. Giggle probably won't, but he can go on to mediums if he wishes. Trunders, Colin, Liam may not pit, and MCFC won't. Yuri might stay out, hold track position if a lot of drivers pit, considering how close everyone is. Drive-through penalty for Lawrence for speeding on the safety car. That's going to be what he's going to have to be able to serve that at the end of the safety car. Yuri already recovering up to 11th after being at the back at the end of the middle sector of lap 1. Lawrence should pit for hards, maybe pit for mediums, because there is scheduled rain, and with this safety car being out, it extends how long the race is going to last. Therefore the rain could come quicker, as the front three, everyone's pitting from the looks of things. I think Trunder stayed out, doesn't want a double stack, sensible from him. Yuri gets benefit of boxing. MCFC will have to double stack. But everyone's coming in, making the most of this safety car and getting one of those pit stops out of the way. What tyres will everyone go on? It's going to be interesting to see. Mason Jr. John decides to stay out, and Aaron has managed to jump him, which is going to be crucial, as he's got a car now in between Quinn and the McLaren. Will the McLaren pit at the end? We're not too sure of this lap. That's going to be difficulty for Quinn, but the gap's going to be a lot closer compared to what it was, and hopefully Quinn isn't going 3 wide into any corners. Could be, but hopefully not going to be going 3 wide into Laycom or turn 1 to compromise the gap to Aaron. Soft tyres for Giggle and O'Sully, interestingly. Jacko's on mediums, Neon's on mediums, Liam's on mediums, Yuri's gone for mediums as well. So even if it stays dry, those have chosen 2 different tyre compounds and can go to the end anyway, or they can just go on softs if they need to make another pit stop. Rageman's on softs, so going aggressive. Lawrence didn't make that extra pit stop, will continue on his softs. Colin's down in 14th on mediums, with MCFC having to double stack on mediums. So I think Colin and MCFC had to double stack and lost a lot of time and positions. Yuri pitting, didn't lose any, didn't gain any. So what does this do for a race, really? It just nullifies it. There's only going to be 2 drivers, alternate strategy compared to everyone else, which is going to be Mason and Trunders, unless they box. That way they can catch back up to the safety car and not lose time over positions. Because I'd rather lose positions than the time. Because the pit stop around here, as you mentioned, is 22 seconds, and we don't want those 2 drivers will end up losing 22 seconds if there's no more safety cars. Trunders is in. Does Mason follow? He does. That's sensible for Mason, considering he's on the soft tyres as well. He can now go on mediums and go as long as he wants until the rain essentially hits, and that's what a lot of these drivers on the mediums can do. It's going to be a lot more difficult on the softs, but those mediums can comfortably go to not only the end, but to the point where the rain could come. Jacko's retired. What has Jacko done? Jacko? What have you... Jacko's... Jacko? What have you done there? Lost it out in the sauce. Don't know why he's done that. I'm just going to send him a little GG and say well done for crashing on the safety car. We just got to wait now for... I think this might be the last lap of yellow flag running, so full caution. And then Aaron will lead the way. He's done this so many times before. Will lead the restart ahead of Quinn, who's now not got the traffic in the way and should be attacking. As Rageman's gone now. What are these drivers doing? As Yuri's got a 5-second stop go for a collision with him. Yuri's now up to 7th. Yuri somehow gained 4 positions. Two from pit stoppers, and 1 originally was from a Jacko, and now the other one's from Rageman. What has Yuri been doing with Rageman? He had 4 consecutive podiums, did Rageman. A safety car comes in this lap, and Rageman now has gone back to where he was after round 1 and not finishing the race. I'm sure there will be a steward's inquiry of what happened there. Maybe Rageman lost it and Yuri just hit him. We'll have to find out post-race. What's Aaron going to do now? They're going to start backing the pack up. And theoretically, I would recommend going on the exit of the bus stop, but that's where everyone tends to go. But if you've got no traction, maybe wait till the line. Keep weaving as you go towards start finish line. Will Aaron go now? He sets himself up for a launch. Does Quinn get on his tails nice and early? Quinn sees that Aaron has launched it, and we're back underway here in Belgium. So it's Aaron from Quinn, Gazaman. Anyone looking to make any moves into the source? I don't think anyone's got to jump on anyone. But you're always going to be annoyed and happy that he's gained 4 positions, but he's got a 5-second penalty, which he will have to serve in his next pit stop. What will Yuri do on the back of Liam on the run through Eau Rouge? He got an awesome run on Aaron. Will he get the same one this time? Overtake engaged. As Chunders gets a 3-second time penalty. Yuri versus Liam. Liam's going to have the slipstream of Sully down towards turn 1. But will Yuri go under the brakes down the inside? He doesn't. Liam holds on to P6. That slipstream from the Ferrari really helped Liam there. And what Sully's got to do is try and stay within that 1-second window on those fresh softs. Otherwise he's going to be out and about trying to hold off people behind him rather than attacking the drivers ahead. Because there's 3 drivers ahead of him on medium tyres, and he should theoretically be faster at this stage in the Grand Prix based on the tyres. Giggle doing well in the other Haas, but so far it looks like, ooh, he always got through on, oh, there's been an incident. Liam's in the wall. Lawrence is retired as well. Accidents at Pouron twice over. Will Mason get by? No, another safety car. Will we see any more pit stops? I don't think so, but that's our second safety car of the session. A few pitters. We have Yuri in the pit, so he might have made contact with Liam. Maybe go side by side to Pouron. May not have been the best idea. But he's into the pits for his second and final stop, along with Liam, who we saw had significant wing damage. And Mason's decided to come in. Whether he picked up any wing damage. Nope, he's going to go on the hard tyres to the end. Liam's on softs and Yuri's on fresh mediums. So Yuri and Mason should get to the end. It could just been Slashley for Yuri. I think it may have worked out in Singapore. It worked out definitely in Jacko Car on Tuesday, but we'll see what happens for Yuri with this strategy call. We're not even halfway yet and we've had 2 safety cars, so this is going to be a long one, folks. Be sure to stay tuned for the final 14 laps of this Belgium Grand Prix. Don't go anywhere, because things are going to get more and more interesting as the laps tick away and the threatening rain will come ever so closer. 45 minutes it was predicted of 82% chance of rain, and with these safety cars slowing the laps down, that rain could be coming quicker than you think, and any of these drivers could be trying to hold out for Yuri winning this race. By the way, did you call it? Did you call it on Tuesday? Because if you did, then all eyes on the Alfa Romeo driver. I think it could be done. But it's going to be interesting for Liam on those soft tyres. Is he waiting for the rain? He's made his 2 stops. But he did start on the mediums. Now, what am I doing? Only 1 time penalty on the board. Yuri actually sensibly got that 5-second stop go out of the way. So that was strategic from Yuri. And he only lost 3 positions, so he's in 10th. We're going to go for one more caution lap. Everyone's lined up, so I'm not sure why. Trunder's the only driver suffering to penalties under track limits. Everyone else has been clean so far. Pit stops. Neon is actually your net race leader based on pit stops. He's already made his 2, and he's on soft tyres. Yuri looks threatening on those mediums. Mason's could be a threat towards the end on those hards. Liam's going to be punchy at the restart on those softs. Net gainers, the Alfa Romeo of those MCFCs gained 10. Was at the back and now in the points, but one more pit stop still to be made from the Alfa Romeo driver. Next is Sully, who's gained a lot of positions, and biggest loser is Yuri, who started on the front row and is now in 10th, but in net P2 essentially, and in a strong positions for the rest of this Grand Prix as long as there are no more safety cars essentially. I think the only thing that's going to stop any of these drivers that have already made their second pit stop from winning this race is when the rain comes. Because if drivers are going to try and hold out for the rain, especially Sully and Giggle on the softs, if they're going to try and hold out for the rain, there could be positions gained due to the fact that you've got fresher tyres. The likes of Trunders, MCFC, Colin, Gazzaman, Quinn, Aaron can all capably get towards that rain phase that is expected to come at the end. If it doesn't rain, then I've just been thrown under the bus with bad weather advice. But I trust Gazzaman. He is lobby host and a one hub faithful, so I trust him. Safety car in this lap. Safety car in. What can Quinn do on this restart? Sorry, I had a mouthful of food there. I was about to comment what is happening at the back, because Yuri and Neon and Trunders are all swapping positions. Where's Aaron? Coming towards the bus step. Safety car hasn't entered the pit lane just yet, so he can't go all guns blazing. But I'm sure he'll do exactly the same again. Get the nice line, get the exit, and punch it for the restart. Aaron's gone, and Quinn's gone slowly. This is Gazzaman's chance to try and take P2 in this race. Mason still 11th, but Liam's on his back. With those fresh softs, does Liam go up the inside of Mason down towards turn 1? He does, and using the benefit of the soft tyre early on to gain a position. Let's go up the hill. The gap started to spread out between the top 3, so I don't think we'll see any overtakes down towards Lake Com, because the benefit of DRS is where we're going to see the overtakes. Because if the driver ahead, the only benefit here is slipstream. If you've got a faster straight line speed setup, then that could work, but around here you want to be a bit mid-range with your setup. There's a lot of fast speed corners, high speed corners, and corners you want the downforce for. If you're just going for pure straight line speed, that can be detrimental in essentially this section of the track where there's a lot of corners and not a lot of straight. Do we see any moves? IR Neon's shaping up Trunders. Sister teams going at it towards Pirwan as Giggle gets a penalty. Neon has a penalty as well. What are those penalties for? 5 seconds for Neon, as Neon's going to look at the inside of Trunders, left, right, weaving between the both of them towards the end of this second sector. What can Neon do on those softs? He's got to watch out for Yuri, who's essentially fighting him for this net race lead. As Yuri has spun and is out of the Grand Prix. Will that be our third safety car of the race? Jacko's jinxed him. I jinxed him. Will it be a safety car? Because they're coming through bus stop now. No one's risking the pit stop, and it looks like there's not going to be a safety car. I'm going to keep green flag running going, even though there's a stranded Alfa Romeo. But it's only one car, and it's quite a long lap, so the time it takes for these drivers to get back round, the yellow flag should be cleared, and there it is. All aboard, essentially DRS train from Aaron all the way down to 9th. We've got 11 runners left here in one hub, points tier, and everyone that finishes is going to score points. I said that last time and someone else didn't finish. Doesn't look like there's going to be rain that's going to hit. Ooh, Neon's got through MCFC towards Les Combes, and Neon now up into 7th. Trunders has lost a couple of positions on that restart, but Neon's the man to watch as he locks up and runs wide through Brussels, but holds on to the position and still in 7th place. Collins made some improvements up to 6th with the benefit of the safety cars, and Quinn starting to lose time and touch to Aaron now. If that breaks out of a second before DRS gets re-enabled, you should think Aaron's got this one in the bag. Quinn using ERS to try and stay ahead, but that 1 second window started to slip, and that could be the changing point here between Quinn holding on to 2nd place and challenging for 1st. But late on with the brakes, and Quinn's managed to gain that 10th and a half. Giggles in the pits. He's had enough of those softs and wants one more stint and probably go mediums to the end for Giggle. He's going to have completed both of his stops, but going to be in a position to be strong at the end, especially if there's another safety car. DRS for Quinn. And really on a charge now is Quinn. Got an opportunity that he didn't have in the first stint to attack Aaron and take the race lead. But it looks to be a 3-horse race at the moment, because Sully, even though on those softs, has started to lose ground, and we're probably looking for his 2nd pit stop sooner rather than later, especially with the guys ahead all going to start pulling each other along with the benefit of DRS. Colin's going to want to try and get back-to-back podiums and back-to-back double podium Mercedes, but he's got to navigate 2 cars. The first one is a Ferrari of a Sully. Colin's going to be on the fresher tyres, and this is where those mediums are going to start kicking in and being better than those softs. Those softs are going to be incredibly worn, as we spoke about. 9 laps is the length really on those fresh soft tyres. So starting to hit that window where the grain is going to start coming in, and maybe even tyres start to overheat as they get worse and worse. Here's Colin's best opportunity now. However, he's got to keep an eye on IRL Neon behind. He's going to have a tow. He's going to use overtake. It's going to maybe go for an overtake through Rouge and Rallion, but holds back. Will he get the overspeed? And being closer to Colin, he's going to get double slipstream, running down towards Les Combes on his Camel straight. Colin's going to have to go to the inside of Sully. There's contact between the two. Will Colin keep it out of the wall? He does, but he's going to lose positions left, right and centre, but should stay in 9th place. But that's side-by-side action between Sully and Colin that's gone wrong, and that's probably going to go to the stewards, as maybe you might think there wasn't enough space left on the inside by Sully, or do you think it was too much of a late lunge by Colin? However, we've lost the battle for the lead, and Quinn has taken it from Aaron as we watch the other Mercedes fight for 4th. Quinn got the lead, benefit of DRS, and now can he hang on to it? It's going to be very difficult if he doesn't have the pace advantage of Aaron to try and break away from that DRS by the end of this lap, because that's where the next DRS detection point is. If you're not ahead by 1 second by that point, you're more likely going to get re-overtaken on the run down towards Les Combes. On the move, Neon gets by Sully as they run towards Blanchimont. What a move that is from the Alpha Tauri driver. Could Sully lose 2 positions in the space of 2 corners? And here's the FC round the outside, late under the brakes. Going to have the inside for the next part of the bus stop. And Sully's going to dive into the pits. What a move from MCFC, even though the car was diving into the pits. Gets the position and is up to 5th. Not a great exit by Quinn there, and Aaron's going to be all over him. Let's go on board with Aaron, see what his point of view is up the hill. Quinn did pick up a 3-second time penalty through Pouon, so that's going to be detrimental to where he's going to finish in this Grand Prix. Could be first, could be third, but down towards Les Combes, the overspeed from Aaron, moved on before the braking zone. Quinn didn't fight it too much, knows that this is going to be an interchangeable thing between the two of them, maybe even the three of them, for the rest of this Grand Prix until that rain hits. What can MCFC now do? IRL Neon has got clear air now. Those soft tyres are going to feel a little bit worn, but with these guys battling, Quinn now falling out. He's not comfortable through Pouon, but we've got a spinner, and that's Neon. We were speaking of him earlier to try and take advantage of the clear air he's got ahead of him, and he's spun through Pouon. Another victim of the curbs through Pouon. Luckily there's ghosting for Colin to gain position on him, and that's Colin now back up into 7th. A lot of drivers making mistakes here, and Aaron has got a charge on, and Quinn is going to try and close back into that 1 second, and with the benefit of using the overtake and maybe the straight line speed, Quinn had to use it to defend from Gazaman, but Quinn is now back into the DRS zone of Aaron. What does Gazaman do into the bus stop? Doesn't fight it, doesn't want to compromise his exit or his run of trying to win this Grand Prix. With Rageman down in 14th and not scoring any points, having retired, there's an opportunity for Gazman to retake second place in the drivers. But he's going to have to look at a race win if he wants to gain any points on the lead of the championship, which is Aaron. Quinn, is he still in DRS? He just about is. But will Gazman launch it up the inside? He's going to go for it, but backs out of it. Quinn goes late on the brakes. Liam gets by MCFC with the benefit of DRS from Liam on those soft tyres, but those are going to start wearing off sooner rather than later, as did Neon's and Sully's. Sully's on mediums, Neon with that spin on softs. Quinn really starting to struggle. And is he trying to hold off for the rain? The sun's started to be covered up by the clouds, and it started to get a little bit darker. It was about this brightness for qualifying, and it was raining. So there could be rain on the way very shortly. And this is what these three, Liam's going to do, as well as MCFC and Trunders and Colin, are all going to try and hold out for that rain that could still come in these final few laps. There's still quite a few laps to go, 6 or 7 to be precise. And it's going to be a fight to the finish for Quinn and Gazaman. This is where Quinn's going to lose out, I think, with the benefit of DRS on Gazaman and no benefit of DRS on Quinn. This is where positions are going to be gained or lost. This is what Quinn will probably want to do. Let Gazaman through into turn 1, and now Quinn is going to get the DRS and slipstream benefit up the hill and down towards Les Combes. So that's a masterclass of strategy for DRS for Quinn, but he runs wide or cuts the corner on entry of early on. But here he comes then. Here comes Quinn. Going to have the outside to Gazaman. Gazaman's not even going to fight it, I don't think, with the overspeed of the Williams. Quinn moves back up to second place. However, with this fighting going on, Aaron's starting to pull away. I wouldn't really call it fighting if you start compromising people, as they're going to do now in towards Brussels. Gazaman was thinking about it. Quinn was going to leave the space, but Gazaman thought better of it, just in case. Is that a flicker of rain I see on our screens? And is that some raindrops on the driver's car? It is, and it's now started to rain here in Belgium, and this is where it's going to start to hurt these drivers on the mediums, because there are only 4 laps left. From what we know from data, there's only really 4 laps left on those mediums left before they start hitting puncture territory. So the rain's going to have to come thick and fast. We were predicted 82%, and that could be coming right now. Will it come all at once? Is it going to come as these drivers are coming through the final sector? This is where it's going to be key. Quinn is going to be ahead of ahead of Gazaman. As they go through Blanchemont, Gazaman, is he going to go for the inside? A very wise racer. Oh, everyone in. Everyone in. Is it time for inters? Could be. Everyone's going to box. They probably got a call from Jeff. Will Colin follow suit? He's got a decent gap that the double stack, sorry, should not hinder him too much. Aaron's going to be on mediums in the first one. Gazaman's going to come out, but has a double stack with Trunders. Trunders is now in. Where's Quinn? Wait a minute. Oh, it's going to be close between the two of them. On pit exit between Quinn and Aaron. Aaron had a slow stop. Quinn's got the quicker one. What's it going to be like on traction for these two as DOS now gets disabled? So it is the perfect time for everyone to be on inters, and these guys have called it perfectly. And Jeff probably called it perfectly for them as well. But with DOS being disabled, it's going to go down to raw pace on these two drivers because Gazaman has spun and is just sat in the middle of the track in neutral. Why are you in neutral? Using overtake. I'm not too sure what's happened to Gazaman there. Maybe a glitch. But here comes MCFC on Liam. This is now a battle for the podium. As Gazaman has been disqualified for parked in a dangerous location. Nice game. Neon still on soft tyres. Didn't decide to pit. Maybe you should have. Will we get a late safety car with that yellow flag? Shouldn't. But Giggle and Leon have probably made a huge mistake of not following everyone into the pits. Sully gets by Mason down towards Lake Com. Mason said in the previous interviews that he's not a fan of the wet. He's going to have to deal with it now, but could be on course for scoring some good points for McLaren. Yellow flag in Lake Com now for no reason. There's no one there. Why is there a yellow flag in a corner where no one is? Hopefully that doesn't bring out a safety car. Nice glitch. Now there's just a yellow flag where Gazaman probably would have been on track. Fantastic game. Lovely work, Codemasters. But Aaron held off the opportunity that Quinn had down towards Lake Com on the exit of the pit lane. And now that gap has proven in qualifying, starting to expand with the pace of Aaron compared to Quinn. Now Quinn's got to watch out for Liam, who doesn't have a penalty behind. As Sully gets by Giggle. Giggle struggling on those mediums. Should now box. And same with Neon. Neon's off the track and he's spun it. He's lost the back end. He's left, right and centre all over the track. Sully's got to be careful as it looks like side by side between Giggle and Mason. Giggle backs off sensibly. Giggle's going to run in the slipstream of Mason. Got to watch out at the braking point of each of these. Going to be different between the two compounds, dry and wet. Giggle should pit. Neon will eventually get back on track, as there is actually a safety car. There actually is a yellow flag in the final sector. So this yellow flag glitch might not cause any more safety cars, because there's just a yellow flag in every corner essentially now for no reason. Luckily these drivers haven't caught up to it, but I think we're going to start finalising positions. Liam, from out of nowhere, could be on course here for not only a podium but second place, and I think he'd be very happy with that after not finishing last week and being stuck on 20 points for a while. Could secure himself 17 points. However, going to have to keep it on track if he wants to get those points and keep it within 3 seconds of Quinn, who unfortunately picked up a 3-second time penalty. Quinn's bottled it. What happened there? I didn't see the overtake. What? Liam's now ahead of Quinn. Am I blind? Chat, am I blind? Was there an overtake, or was that just... I don't know. Maybe Quinn just doesn't have the pace on these inters. He had it to put it on the second row in qualifying, but maybe this dry setup is not suitable for these wet weather conditions. And if the rain's getting heavier, it's going to get more and more difficult. Yeah. Oh, at least you saw it. I may not have commentated on it, but at least you saw the move. Yellow flag sector 1. That's a McLaren. That's a Mercedes. Colin, have you had a mistake, or is that just what? The yellow flag catching up to itself. No, it's just following Colin now. The yellow flag's just hunting down Colin. It's like, you will be the cause of the next yellow card. Quinn lost it. Quinn lost the back end. And Liam takes advantage. Let's have a quick look at the race directory of Liam. One warning there. So Liam in a good stead to hold on to this P2. Aaron, flawless drive so far. No real threat. Kept his head cool. And with only 3 laps remaining, looks to secure yet another victory here in One Hub. And maybe put at least one nail in the coffin of Gazzaman and Rageman's title charge. Definitely Quinn's might be a compromise, especially with the gap being so large. 20 points I believe it is for a win, with there being only 4 rounds after this left. That's a total of 80 points. There's also points for fastest lap, so that could decide really the final position of the podium for the Drivers' Championship. Quinn really struggling now. The gap's fallen outside 1 second, and that slipstream benefit's going to be really difficult. And could he lose a position to MCFC behind? It seems to be taking advantage of these wet weather conditions. That gap looks larger, or looks smaller than 1.7 between Quinn and MCFC, but there, when they're going full speed, it looks like that 2-second gap. Quinn picking up the pace, not giving up just yet on this second place, but wants to keep his head on not getting another penalty, because that could lose him the podium position to MCFC if he keeps within that 3-second window. Let's have a quick look at Aaron's warnings. He's got 2 warnings, so technically he is 1 warning away from a penalty. Let's have a look. Aaron there, track limits, and Aaron somewhere else here, track limits. So yeah, he's 1 warning away from penalty, and that could be crucial because it's teetering over that 3-second window that Aaron will need if he does get another penalty. But when you're driving a lot slower, as the rain has really started to pick up here, and we could see people dash onto wet weather tyres for the end, for the final couple of laps, if the inters are not going to work. We could have a Russia monsoon vibe here at the end of Spa, or even get the monsoon that Spa had at the end of this Grand Prix. But it's really hammering it down here, and will we see drivers start losing grip because the inters are not going to be the tyre to be on? Does Aaron box at the end of this lap? He does have a window to pit to stay inside the top 6, but when you're in the lead, it's always worth the risk. It was worth the risk for Lando. Will this be a Lando style mistake for the Mercedes driver of Aaron? Not taking the advice of the team if it was to be boxing onto wets, but no one else seems to be flinching, and Inter seem to still be the tyre to be on. Looks very wet, but in these treacherous conditions, Inters can still be the better tyre to be on. Could be wet or Inters. Could be the choice of tyres, and if you're already on the Inters, you might as well stay on them. Quinn now not only keeping within a second of Liam, but Liam's keeping within 3 seconds of Aaron, and that gap between the podium spots for MCFC is starting to fall and slip away slowly, as the gap now is over 2.5 seconds. But I think he'd be happy with that P4, will the Alfa Romeo driver. Solid performance. Chunder's behind's got a penalty, so should hold on to P4. Chunders will hold on to P5 just about, unless Colin can get that gap down to under 3 seconds, which he's starting to do at the moment, and could benefit him and get a double top 5 finish for Mercedes. We're on the penultimate lap, and there are technically no battles on track, but I am going to have to nominate 2 driver of the days that are going to have to be fought out in the polls on Twitter. Be sure to follow One Hub Racing on Twitter to get your votes in to who you think is driver of the day from what I choose on track, or even give your suggestions in the comments. They could throw me an option? Maybe I name one, and you guys in the comments collectively give a driver of the day nomination. That could work. But here we go then. Aaron is going to start his final lap as the rain pours down here at Spa. It's usually wet in a Spa, but not this kind of Spa. As he starts his final lap, Aaron, who's led nearly all this Grand Prix, and is going to take victory as long as he can keep it not only between the white lines, facing the right way for this final lap. However, he is starting to struggle, and that gap started to come down. It's below 2 seconds. Kelvin North has said Colin as driver of the day as a suggestion. I think Liam will get mine. Liam is guaranteed to get mine. He did 3 stops, but is currently looking at second place. However, Quinn is not going to let this one go too easily, even though he has a penalty. Splash and dash here at the end. Hopefully everyone's got enough fuel. The safety cars would have made sure everyone had enough fuel, even if you underfueled the car. But Aaron's just starting to ease the car home. Maybe he's struggling on fuel. That gap's starting to come down. Hopefully he doesn't lose out to Liam. Or this could be Liam's first victory this season, and proving the pace that he had last season in prospect. Can he snatch it at the death? Is it possible? The gap's starting to come down less and less, and we're now going to slowly get into under a second. How's your traction towards Blanchimont then, Aaron? Is he going to hang on? He should do, but I think Liam is just giving it everything, all the ERS. I'm not sure why Aaron's not punching the ERS, but Liam's gunning for it. Is he going to go flat? He lifts through Blanchimont. Will he go for a late dive or just go for the exit towards the finish line? If we had one more lap, this could have been the tightest finish we've seen so far in One Hub. But up to the line, he's kept his head cool, and Aaron will win here in Spa. Liam, from a stonking drive, started towards the back, finishes second. Quinn will get a podium after getting a penalty and lost the position. MCFC will be 4th, Trunders 5th, Colin will get 5th ahead of Trunders because of penalties by 2/10, Sully 7th, Mason 8th, and Giggle 9th. I saw in the chat, I think Colin. So Colin had an interesting Grand Prix, and Liam from the back gets 2nd place. Sully will come home in 7th, Mason holds on for 8th, and Giggle will be 9th when they finally come round to finish the Grand Prix. So my question for you, Liam, is, as my driver of the day, knowing the rain was going to come, did that extra stop onto fresher tyres help decide your strategy because of the safety cars? Yeah, as that strategy helps you get to 2nd place today after starting so far down. So yeah, driver of the day for me. And Colin was the other one. No podium this week, but I assume you'll be happy with getting another top 5 finish, and I assume you're cheering on your teammate for that drivers' championship with the double in your hands for the rest of the season. So yeah, Colin and Liam are the driver of the days. 3 different constructors on the podium: Mercedes, Alpine, and Williams. But Aaron, unstoppable yet again. So there are your classified results for this round 6 here at One Hub Belgium Grand Prix. Aaron gets his 3rd win in a row, I think that is, and will extend his lead at the Drivers' Championship. Liam gets his first podium of the season from 16th to 2nd. Great driver, my driver of the day. Quinn holds on for a podium ahead of the leading Alfa Romeo of MCFC. Colin gets P5 after starting down the field. Trunders is in 6th. Good points for that Red Bull. O'Sully in 7th. Mason in 8th. Giggle in 9th. Iron Liam rounds out your top 10. Gazaman apparently would have been 11th in your DNF. So 9 people finished, the rest did not, which were Neon, Gazaman, Yuri, Lawrence, Rageman, Jacko, Kingdon, and Hooky was our first retirement of the session. Next week, where are we? It's a good question. Let's find out. Next week, for round 7, here in One Hub, is going to be dun dun dun. Discord, why are you not loading? Cheers, Discord. You've ruined my day. You ruined my day, Discord. Next week is going to be the Silverstone Grand Prix, the British Grand Prix, 15th of October. Be sure to tune in here live for points once again. Be sure to check out the rest of the One Hub Racing streams. We've got Podium coming to a climax soon. Pinnacle or Precision will be underway, and Pinnacle will be starting very shortly soon. So plenty of action to keep you guys entertained for the rest of the evening. Thank you all for watching. No Sully this week, unfortunately, but hopefully he'll be here next. Thank you, and see you all next week.